The Negro Justice League.
It's your boy Jay.
Hey everybody, it's Ulongtea. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, everywhere pretty much. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram under Ulongtea Gaming. That's ULONGTEA Gaming.
Okay, thanks.
Great to be here. Happy New Year.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us. So speaking of which, we got to welcome back. I mean, this is the first episode we recorded in 11 months.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Thank you, Jay. And so, what's been going on? It's been a whole ass pandemic out here, y'all, for real. And
for 2 years, bro, y'all don't learn.
Whole years. And we switched to live format. We were basically doing the same thing twice a week, honestly, like more than we ever did podcasts. We were kicking these out twice a week live on our Twitch. So if you haven't been following that, then that's on you, bro. Like, a lot of people been like, oh, we missed y'all. Where y'all been? I said, shell, we've been on Twitch, every Wednesday and Friday at 4:30 p.m. But we don't do that no more. We back in action. We're trying to get the podcast up and running again. So thank you, Uzo, for joining. And let me get into the news. All right. RIP, since we haven't been here for a while, we got a couple of RIPs. We got rest in peace, Betty White, Max.
The late and great.
It's gonna be late and great in a minute. You can hold those. Max the Mac Julian, Sidney Poitier, James Ntume, Bob Saget, and Louis Anderson, just to name a few. Honestly, that was just the past couple days.
And Meatloaf.
So yeah, this is like super recent. We can sit here and do RIPs for the rest of the show because we ain't done a show in a year. But we ain't
2022 already started off bad.
People die every year, bro.
I'm just saying.
All right, Wesley Snipes.
that was
Cameron.
Cameron. I said Common.
I like how you try to fix it in the middle. Cameron. It was Cameron. You sound Jamaican.
The next one's you. It's you.
Xbox has acquired Activision, Blizzard, and King. This is a huge acquisition, billions of dollars. Big thing for Xbox because now they own COD, Call of Duty, which is one of the biggest series ever.
And Crash Bandicoot, which is super important to everyone.
Named Cherry.
And Spyro.
And Candy Crush.
Uzo.
Candy Crush.
Named my mom. Okay. Like, y'all were worth billions, I'm sure. The issue with this big acquisition is the fact that Activision and Blizzard have been having some really horrible basically publicity over the last few months of sexual harassment, them knowingly knowing it, hiding it, really bad. So it has definitely left a black mark on this, but Xbox is kind of showing between this and Game Pass that they're trying to like really bully Sony messing up the PS5 launch, basically, because they're pushing.
Definitely doing that.
All right, more Jay.
Black Panther has resumed filming. Finally, Black Panther 2, I think it's still called Wakanda Forever. Filming has been stopped for multiple reasons. The most recent one dealing with Letitia Wright and an injury. Contrary to popular belief, it was not because of vaccination reasons solely, but because of her injury.
It was also because of vaccination stuff, because they had a vaccination requirement. And if you look at the casting calls now, all of a sudden there's no vaccination requirement on this movie. And they're coming back saying the issue has been resolved. So it's like, how come this is the only production with no vaccination requirement?
Basically, the issue resolved by her contract being before COVID. It's like, hey, if y'all don't want me to be this, y'all gonna have to pay me buku. So
I'm wondering how they're gonna get her in the country, or if they're gonna get her in the country. I'm wondering, like, are they gonna have to go over there? You know, she's British. Do they have to go over there to film with her? Because you need a COVID vaccine to come in here. So I don't think any country other than New Zealand and Australia, with what they just did with your tennis boy, are gonna stop her. So
they got to figure it out. It's too much money. It's at least $1 billion. So, back to you.
Will Smith came out with a book. It's called Will. Very a lot of creativity involved in that. I just bringing it up because it was really big on the internet because he's like really big in social media stuff. And I read it. I read it cover to cover. It was not bad, but I only recommend it for people who are actually fans of him. Because it is very, it's a book called Will by Will, and it's all of the content is very me. So, it was good, but it has some good hip hop history and history like Fresh Prince and stuff that it was entertaining and it was educational as well. But it's also very self-centered.
Do you think in 5 years the positive opinion most people have about Will Smith and his family can change to maybe a more negative Kardashian type one?
I think they're pushing it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Movies. I think we're gonna skip right over Shang-Chi. That was just Shang-Chi, Jay. It was Jay, you like to over enunciate your words.
Shang-Chi.
Anyway,
that's how you pronounce it.
Thank you.
It's not, but I'm glad you thought it was. But keep continue.
That was directed at Jay, but like Uzo really jumped in on that, so he really aggressive about that.
Even though we're skipping over, can we at least say if we liked it or not?
That's what I'm trying to ask you, but y'all keep correcting me, so I was waiting on y'all to finish.
No, I was corrected.
It was Uzo.
I liked it. It was if we're just talking about the action itself, I'd almost give it an A+. I really, really enjoyed the action that we got to see, the storyline, the villain, the dude, the dad. I think he was the best out of the whole thing. But it was I'd give it a B altogether. My hardest thing is dealing with Awkwafina. Actually, I can't stand her in almost anything.
You know who she was supposed to be, right?
Who?
The girl from Iron Fist.
That would have been perfect.
But she decided not to. She decided not to do it because she wanted to be in the Matrix.
Oh, she a dummy. She a cute dummy. She could probably whoop my butt. But she a dummy. No, because it's the Matrix. Keanu's been hot. He's still hot. It's the Matrix, and it's not like it's not gonna get a sequel. So I can't knock her. I can't knock her. Not for taking a role.
I can knock her. I ain't picking Disney superhero stuff. I'm not picking no Matrix over that. Ain't no way.
True.
No,
true.
Exactly.
You. This is Shang-Chi, the Asian demographic, which is going to be huge. Mm-hmm. Just like how Black Panther is huge because of the Black and African and all that demographic. You are basically second in line for at least $3 or $4 billion. Yeah, you're right.
Hello. Yeah. And it's not, it hasn't been established yet. The Matrix has been established. We know the characters. We know who we like. You got to try to work your way into that fandom. This is brand new. You could be right in there from the jump.
And the Matrix has been trash since basically the Matrix 2. It has not had a positive rating since. So yeah, you were right. Yes. But I liked it.
That was an L.
Right.
That was like, what's his name? What Will Smith was supposed to do the Matrix, but he decided to do Wild Wild West.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he was. Who was he supposed to play? Neo or Morpheus?
Neo.
Okay.
He could have been freaking Neo, but he decided to do Wild Wild West. All right. Uzo, did you like Shang-Chi?
Of course I did. I would give it a B+. It wasn't my most anticipated Marvel movie of last year, but I think I was more excited for Eternals anyway. But it was definitely a good movie. Going into it, I kind of felt like it was going to just be another kung fu flick, but with Marvel's, essence attached to it, and that's pretty much what it was. But it was still a good movie, so I'll give it a B+.
I love the fact that the martial arts in that though is very separate from all the other action fighting you generally seen in Marvel movies. Like you can tell they wanted to make sure that the high wire, Hong Kong kung fu wushu, like stuff was there, and I like that. That's what I like. The action I really, really loved. It was only when it became Marvel action, which is usually in the climax with all the bright lights and beams. Right. But it was really, really good.
It almost felt grounded.
Okay, y'all, this ain't a Shang-Chi interview. I mean, review.
Let's go to the next one.
But damn, y'all cut halfway through the Eternals conversation. I just want to say I like the movie. I give it probably a strong B+, B++. I hate to say this, but the fighting style made me want to see Jackie Chan. Just because a lot of the swings and a lot of the motion and a lot of the stylism that they use in the fights is his style. And so it made me want to see him as an older, I mean, he could have been a dad, but I did like the dad they used, or like just an older, maybe a mentor or something like that. But it made me want to see him in the MCU, which, there's still room to do that. All right, Eternals. Yep. This movie, I'll say first of all, I don't know anything about the source material. I've never seen an Eternals comic. I didn't know it was a thing. I got nothing. So, I'm probably going to offend some people, but I'm just going to be judging straight from the movie. First of all, we are very deep in the MCU. We are a decade and some change in. This movie felt like it came out of left field for me. Like I know that we are changing. We're in a period of transition from the old Avengers to a new set of Avengers. But everything was cohesive up until this point. This movie for me felt like the beginning of something and not like we did in the middle of a whole nother story. Like there was no cohesiveness between what was already going on, and it introduced some major world changing problems that also, I haven't seen them tied to what else is going on yet. Maybe it is, but I haven't seen it.
Could you tell me what the world changing problems were? I haven't even thought about that.
I mean, just it goes back and changes what the what the Big Bang and how the universe is created. It goes back and rewrites that, because we just knew that there was a Big Bang and there were 6 stones came out. That was pretty much it, and we assumed everything else was in line with our history. But then we find out about, are they Titans? What are they called? Celestials. We find out about Celestials, which we kind of knew a little bit about Ego, but that's a different thing. Like he's just a planet. Now we've got like big beings that I don't know. All of this is coming way out of nowhere. Like this is, our universes were lined up pretty much, and this is coming way the hell out of nowhere. And it's a lot. I feel like it should be divided through some different movies or through some stories or a show. I don't think it's something you just slap on somebody in a 10-minute, exposition graphic and then say, okay, accept this as your universe.
I think the problem, and I said this to you off camera, but I think the biggest issue is the director. Chloe, forgot her name, but I'll think about it. But I think it is her vision as a director and how she directs that has made this movie. I liked it, but I like this was very artistic to me in a way. Yeah. And I really liked that. And that's her style, but it does not work if this is the first after so long. Because a lot of the elements in this, the Celestials, the Celestials, the powers, the Black Knight, the Black Knights, the Deviants. Some of this has been talked about in other movies, so there has been building blocks. So it should have worked, but it just, like you said, it was done in such a way it felt left field. Especially the Eternals themselves.
It almost felt like you ever been in school, you had a teacher that was easy, and then like a week before the exam, they come in with like books and stuff, and you're like, hold on, what is this? Yeah. That's kind of how I felt like. You know what I'm like?
Yeah. This felt like it was an exam, and I was just like, when was I supposed to study?
Exactly. Because we have been through a lot as an audience. We had to learn about, they spent a decade teaching us what Infinity Stones are and giving us one movie for each one and putting them together. There's a new villain. All of that took several movies. This did all of that story building in one movie. And that's why I was like, hold on. What you mean is there's a big giant creature living inside the earth and it's going to open and kill us all. And like dinosaurs were killed by deviants and they've been like all of this it was just it was heavy. It was very heavy on one movie. So while all that's going on, you're introducing like 10 new superheroes and I don't have the capacity to care about none of them. Because you hit me with 10 new people after I'd done all this studying beforehand, before the movie, studying all this backstory stuff. Get to this, you throw on a bunch more stuff, and you throw on a bunch more people. And that's a lot.
And not only do you throw them in, you throw them in generally the worst way possible, which is bright visuals and exposition.
And Jill tones.
For 3 hours.
Everybody's wearing Jill tones the whole movie. It drives me nuts.
So you get all of this.
And one or two cool fight scenes. I think I cared about them the most during the fight scenes. Like when they're jumping around and actually battling and working together to defeat deviants, that's when they're most interesting.
And that is, again, I think, Chloe's job.
And I don't
that
like
is the
action.
issue of the. I think that's the issue of the director. You clearly see the artistic aspect of it. She's trying to have this soulful, living all this eternal life, and it would work, but not in this way. You know what I mean? And this is one of those movies, if the Eternals are supposed to be some of the most powerful beings in the universe, the action should make me feel that way. Especially with 10 characters.
I was watching it with my dad, and I said the same thing to him. I was like, I'm not understanding why these battles with the deviants are even hard. Like the way they characterize the Eternals' powers, fighting the deviants weren't doing anything. Like they're running and jumping and biting and stuff, but they're not doing things that make me say the Eternals should take more than a second trying to kill them.
This is how I knew the movie, even though I was gonna like it, was fundamentally flawed. It was, spoiler alert, but it was the scene where they're fighting kind of like in that camp forest area. It's like the middle main scene. And I'm seeing all of this going on between them. And I'm like, we just had a flashback where those same 7 just killed 5,000 of them. And like, we've taken them off the earth. Like it was nothing. It was a Friday to them. So why all of a sudden is this 1 or 2 causing you issues?
Right, and it can heal itself. I'm like, you could kill it before it does it. Well, especially if you shoot lasers out your eyes, I don't understand why you miss on so many shots.
Plus the power scale of the characters made no sense. Icarus, played by your boy Rob, was supposed to be, I guess, the Superman version of the one, but he gets injured. Is he stronger than everyone? Let me ask the question real quick before you continue. Do either of you know the Eternals from the comic books or anything else?
No.
What was you doing about 5 minutes ago when I broke that down?
I said, that's why I'm asking both. I already knew your answer.
Well, you asking Uzo.
I didn't want to just say Uzo. I was asking both. Okay.
Thanks for including me.
Not necessarily, no. And I think that's why I was excited for this movie, because I knew nothing about him.
Okay.
So not knowing was why this movie was, I guess, my most anticipated Marvel movie to watch.
Because the only reason I think, before you continue, the only reason I think I even like it is because I knew about these characters. That's the only reason.
Because you have to care. You already can't come in with some type of opinion or feeling towards these characters, where the rest of us, they didn't build that up for us. So when you kill a character that I liked, one of my favorite characters was the strong dude who was cooking.
Gilgamesh.
Yeah, Gilgamesh.
You're talking about
he was my favorite.
Madong.
Yeah, he was my second favorite character. He cooked pies and he was strong, and I liked him, and he was funny. That was why I liked him, because he was funny. The other characters don't have any personality. But when
strong
you kill
cooks
him,
pies funny.
Shut up, Jay. When you kill him, I'm supposed to feel something. I'm not supposed to be like, oh damn. That's how I felt like, oh, there he goes. It should have been a sad death. I didn't care when he killed Selma Hayek.
Why do you create characters that are supposed to be so powerful if you got half of the crew dying by the end of the movie.
Oh man. It's like, what's his name?
But
What's his name?
Jay, isn't the
hold on? Darwin. Damn, it's Darwin. He saw me trying to think.
Yeah.
No, nothing. I was just gonna say, like, you know more about it. So, aren't the deviants supposed to be as strong as these guys, but just mindless?
So yeah, basically in the comic books, the deviants and the Eternals are basically the yin and yang and opposite. So they both have power sets. The deviants are literally ugly, grotesque monsters. That's why they're called deviants. The Eternals are supposed to be like the perfection of humanity, and they just fight this eternal war, basically.
My issue is when
the deviants were my biggest gripe with Marvel, and I know part of it is just because it's easy, is if it's alien, it's all basically the same. Like, they don't, but it's not even that. I'm talking about just visually. They look like the Chitauri, they look like the deviants. There's not really any unique. The only time I saw aliens that were unique were in Thor Ragnarok. But otherwise, they all generally grayish in color, sinewy. It's all the same. And
I'm sick of the same motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all keep killing each other. You don't deserve to live on this planet. I'm gonna have to wipe the planet. I'm just like sick of hearing that.
Yeah, and I get that. That's comic books. That's how you make things big. And when you're talking about cosmic scale, it's kind of blowing up balance type stuff.
And that's part of the problem. Marvel, I don't know if they intended to go this far with the movies, but they've kind of gotten to a scale where it's like the world is in danger already. And how many times can the whole entire universal planet population be in danger before the story is over?
I think what Marvel is trying to work on is making all the big cosmic crazy stuff movies, and all the down to earth stuff outside of a few things like Spider-Man, the TV shows.
That's what it looks like. And I'm starting to gravitate towards the TV shows.
Absolutely.
Now give me real interpersonal conflict.
Eternals should have been a TV show.
Oh God.
I was just about to ask that question. Do you think it would have been better if they broke it up into parts and as a show?
If Eternals gave me 8 episodes, which were basically 8 episodes of whatever the Eternals are, like each episode was based on them and their life and story, I think that would have worked so much more better.
I agree with you. I think they should have given one character one episode and just like weave the whole story throughout all of the episodes, but also each episode focuses on one person so I can care about them. Because I got nothing. I ain't attached. Brian Tyree Henry is one of my favorite actors, and I thought his character was kind of neat, but I don't care at all. And I should be attached to things.
And a part of the reason I keep on saying this is the director and kind of just how her vision is, and you can clearly see she wasn't given necessarily the Marvel lockdown treatment of like, we need the movie to go this way.
I bet they do it on the second run.
Because Guardians of the Galaxy, again, is a perfect example of a movie that should not have worked. Nobody knew none of the characters. A whole bunch of new characters we were supposed to know and care about, and it worked.
It works well.
But you have to do it a certain way to make it work, and this wasn't it.
And this movie has an excellent cast.
Yeah.
Everyone in that movie is literally Academy or award-winning actors and actresses. Everyone, the directors, everyone in there is high caliber. So there's no reason for it not to work other than the fact that the pieces weren't meant to work.
Which sounds weird. I mean that in the most literal way. So I'd like to see him sword fight again.
I do want to give some positives on the Eternals that I had.
Go ahead.
One is Mercury, the deaf hero who is super fast.
Oh, the girl. Okay, yeah. She was good. They did a speedster.
Yeah, she was really good.
It's not always easy to do a fast character, and they did her well.
Mm-hmm. They did her really well, and she had some of the best action. And two, I like the fact that usually the guy I would have thought was the villain, which was the mental ability guy, didn't.
Yeah, he's always on the line.
Yeah, but he was real about it. He was like, what we're doing isn't feeling right. And he was right in the end. Like, they really weren't doing the right stuff. Like, if they would have listened to him, they could have actually probably solved this 5,000 years ago. But I did like those two parts because it was something I wasn't expecting.
I had an issue with Brian. I forgot his name. In the movie The Black. What's his name? I don't know. Brian.
Cedric the Entertainer?
Yeah, him. Him crying.
He played Fastos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Him crying over the atomic bomb.
Mm-hmm.
The Hoteps were mad because he has a husband, and him and his husband have the first gay kiss in a Marvel movie. And so when I saw it, I thought it was going to be like a love scene, slob down, hide the kids. It was a peck.
I think it was a little peck.
It was his peck on the way out the door. It was like, hey, I got to go. Mwah. Like,
yeah, right.
People get on my nerves. They get on my nerves.
I think, I liked his character just because it is Brian, and I like how he played it. But yeah, it was ridiculous. I knew it was going to be an issue the moment I saw his relationship, his blended same-sex marriage family. But it was not even something to be. I'm glad it's there, but Hoteps are horrible.
Yeah, like it wasn't even. Y'all doing the most for no reason. All right, grades. Jay.
I'm gonna give this a C-. This was, I'm gonna give this a C-. I said I liked it, but that's because I know these characters, and especially the newest comic book run, it's really phenomenal. But if I didn't know these characters and I did 3 hours of this, I'd be like, if we're talking about this is one of the worst Marvel movies, and I think this is right next to me, Iron Man 3 or Thor Dark World. I like Black Widow, but I know how badly you don't like
Black Widow. I didn't like Black Widow.
Ulo, 8 through.
I'll give it a B. I give it a B because, like I said before, I didn't know much about the Eternals, and I was more excited to watch this movie because of that. This movie didn't feel like a Marvel movie to me. It felt more of a DC movie because it was different. Because, you got these guys with laser eye beams. That's Superman for you. And then what's her name? The fast chick felt like I was watching Flash. So, so it was very different.
But that's what the Eternals are. They were always kind of positioned as being like this God Justice League. So,
right.
All right. So, I will give it a C.
So I gave it the worst one, and I said,
I was surprised you gave it a C. I knew that I was going to say C when you gave it C-. So I was like, dang. It was boring as hell, but it was very pretty. They went all over the world, and they did beautiful things. I remember I watched it with my dad, and I told my dad I would like it better if they broke it into at least 2 movies. This is before Jay said do it into a show, because that's actually a better idea. But like at least break it up and show them in different time periods in the world. Like more of that. I want to see more of like Roman Empire. I want to see y'all in Egypt. I want to see y'all in China. Like I want to, you know what I mean? That in and of itself would make me care about the characters before you tell me that someone's about to destroy the whole planet and bubble and blow my mind with all that extra stuff.
This is what makes it DC to me. This was like DC's way of doing Justice League and having everything in it at once. This needed to be something where it probably should have been a trilogy at least, where we get to see them when they first come, we get to see them when whatever happens, or like this part, and then we could see them like actually going to the Celestials, and that should be what we're seeing.
I agree with you completely.
It could definitely been broke up. broken up in a show.
And that is
Because
why
the
we
first
won't
movie needs to make us care about these characters.
Exactly. That's the first thing you do before you tell me a story. Make me care about the story that you're going to tell. Whatever. That's why we won't be reviewing Peacemaker, because I done gave up on the DC universe. I can't do it. I can't do it.
How did y'all feel about the end credit?
The what?
The end credit.
Oh man, I thought
Which
it was cool. I thought it was cool that Jon Snow about to get a sword.
Do you know who
There was
spoke at the end?
Blade, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
All right.
I am not going to be interested about Blade until I actually either see what he looks like or at least a trailer.
Hello. I will
I'm
make
still
sure
trying
that
to figure
that
out what they got to do with each other, but
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So The Witcher. Okay. Let me. What's the first note say? Was this season an improvement? So I started season 2. What the first movie came out? The first season came out like 2 years ago, at least
2017, I think.
3,
What?
4 years ago, a long time ago. So
Yeah.
I started watching this without rewatching season 1. So like 3 or 4 episodes in, I had no clue what was happening. All I could follow was what Geralt was going through, because it was basically like one-off monster fights. I could follow that and I enjoyed that. But as far as like what was the war and why was facing had no powers and like what the hell was going on, I had no clue. So I had to go back and rewatch season 1. Season 1 was good the second time around. It was better because I understood that they were on different timelines. I think the first time I watched it, that went over my head. And so it was like a lot of what the hell is going on again. Which they leave hints, but they're very small hints. And I think if you're going to do that, you need to be a little more deliberate about it. Because it needs to be obvious. Because if it's not obvious, then people don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
That being said, they don't do that the second season. There's a more linear story here. But for me, it was actually more boring. Like I had the same issue where I think this show doesn't develop the characters or the characters' relationships enough for me to care. And so I start zoning out and I can't follow. Like, for instance, Geralt and Yennefer are supposed to be madly in love, apparently. Or like star-crossed, can't
Lovers. Yeah.
It's supposed to be a big deal. And they never show us that. They have 1 or 2 little sex scenes. And there's one scene where they lay in the bed and they have a conversation, but there is no relationship. That I haven't seen anything. So I don't care that he's looking for her. I don't care that he thinks she's dead. When they reunite, I still don't care. That relationship ain't doing that for me because I've never seen it. And they play.
That is my probably biggest gripe with this, and it's an improvement over the last season simply because the whole timeline thing that they did last season was trash. It was messy. You really, like, as someone who is a fan of The Witcher, read books and the games, and knew the stories, I was still like, what's going on? This season being linear, but they still do the exact same thing of not actually doing anything with these characters, but the entire story is about how much these characters are supposed to care about each other. And like, I liked the first 2 or 3 episodes when it was just basically Geralt and Ciri. Like, their bonding, I really liked that because you were getting to see the character growth. But as soon as they started adding the other parts of the show with, the elves and the magic and all of that, it did
I don't
the
care
exact
about
same
that war
thing.
at all. they say that the elves are being oppressed, and I'm supposed to care because I care about people of the oppression. But I don't care about the elves, mostly because all I've seen is like one dude be forced to pee on himself in the street once, and I'm like, oh, that's oppression. There it is, war. Like you're making jumps.
You know what? Oh man, I hate doing this, but this is what makes me pissed off about it being compared to Game of Thrones. Because if Game of Thrones wanted to show you oppression,
they gonna show it for a long. Like Cersei went through a whole arc of oppression. They shoot it every day.
Like, if you want to show why these elves are willing to commit genocide after this, spoiler alert, baby is killed, a little old man pissing on himself because he's been annoying to everybody, don't.
And all you get is a bunch of characters saying this has been going on for years. This is the way it's always been. They've always done it. People keep saying it over and over and over, but you have not shown me anything.
And in a show where you've literally had a timeline that's been over at least 3 centuries, I believe, why haven't we seen that?
It don't even feel that long. It feels like about 50 years as a stretch.
Yennefer is supposed to be like 200 years old.
And I only know that because somebody said something about it.
Geralt is supposed to be like a 97-year-old man.
And like the fact that they look young because they don't age means you have to show me the passage of time in other ways, and they don't accomplish that
At all.
And so when you tell me these people have been loving each other for decades, that makes sense, but I don't see it. I have to deduce that somehow.
Mm-hmm. The other thing, and I think Henry Cavill is doing an amazing Geralt. Mm-hmm. I do not feel the same way with who's playing Yennefer.
I hate Yennefer's guts. I don't know if it's like the writing and just the way the character is, but I can't stand that girl. And she's supposed to be a little despicable, but you're also supposed to care about her, like not being able to have a child. That's supposed to be a big deal. We're supposed to really give a damn that she can't have kids, and I don't care. Not because I don't, care for people that go through that, but because she's a butthole the whole time. And so I don't care about nothing she wants. And because the way that the time flows or way that whatever, I see her giving up her ability to have a child, and then 5 minutes later she's crying that she doesn't have a child. I'm like, in the story it's been several years and that makes sense, but on TV it's been a couple minutes, and so I'm like, why are you mad you can't have kids? Didn't you just like I hate her. She's just snotty and snobby and evil, and I can't stand that girl.
What about you, Uzo? Have you played The Witcher?
I have. Only played Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and even then, I'm not well versed with the story of it. But I like Yennefer. I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with her. Well, this season I didn't really like her as much, but
you don't see anything wrong with her.
This season, I didn't like her as much. I know that there's more to the Witcher story, which they really haven't shown. And I think it would have been better if they would have flushed that out possibly in the first season. Maybe the first season should have been, kind of like the backstory with the war, the suppression of the elves and all that kind of thing. So, but I believe that they're coming out with another, I guess, a spinoff series that details all of that. So
see, we shouldn't need to do that. You shouldn't need no spinoff 2 seasons in to explain what's going on. That's ridiculous.
And that's why I feel like maybe that spinoff should have been the first season of Witcher to kind of explain all of that stuff.
Well, one of the reasons I know that the issue with The Witcher has been happening, because it's kind of been discussed, is the person who is the basically showrunner of the show has actively tried to make this her version of The Witcher, their version. You can't
stop letting people do that.
And we got
D&D's version of Game of Thrones, and y'all saw how that went.
And Henry Cavill has been very good at trying to be like, I've been trying very hard to like show them how this should be, and
because he's a super nerd, and he's actually into the source material.
Right,
has a good understanding. Like he's doing the best he could do. You can't ask nothing else from him. This
feels like his Riddick, Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel did Riddick. Basically, he loved it, and it made him money, and he loved the character. This feels like that for Henry Cavill to me. Like, y'all ain't gonna let me be Superman, whatever. I'm gonna be The Witcher. I love it.
It's freaking Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it's okay.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the other thing is, ain't enough action in this, man. You supposed to be a monster hunter. Why ain't you hunting no monsters?
That was what I wanted to say. I feel like the show is at its best when you look at something like episode 1 of season 2, where it's telling a straight up one-off monster story. Like if they really built the show around one-off monster battles and just show me different battles each time and just tell a little bit of story in that way, it would be a lot more interesting than when they spend all this time debating Nilfgaard and elves and whatever.
This has literally been my entire thought. Every single time they have an episode that's monster-centric, it's amazing. All the other episodes are trash almost, unless you really care about the characters. If you were to do a full season where it really is Geralt or whatever, there's a big main story plot line, but each episode he was still having to do his job as a Witcher or tied to the main plot line, like a Sherlock Holmes type thing. It would make the show so much better because that's where it shines.
The war should be going on in the background. Like, that should just be the context.
Because that's not his care. Like, he's a part of it just because of destiny and whatever. But he's like, I'm just trying to get money, man.
That first episode was outstanding. With, my boy, what's his name? Tormund? What's his name? Dude from Game of Thrones. He did it. He was acting his butt off with a despicable character, and he made it sad that you almost, cared about it. And he introduced a character in one episode that I cared about and was more entertained by than a lot of the characters that have been around the entire show. Speaking of which, go ahead.
I was going to say, here's a really funny thing. The Witcher books are almost exactly like that. Each book is a separate story, short stories. So you really could do a season that still told a major plot line, but each episode be a standalone episode.
I figured the only reason they were even doing those episodes was because it was in the book. Because it almost felt like they didn't want to do it. And you know who has a good example of that? Lovecraft Country. The way Lovecraft Country is written, it's it's a set of series of scary-ish stories, and it's like an anthology series, but they're all kind of connected through one storyline, and they adapted that well for the show. Like, each episode of the show felt like a different genre of television. That would have
been so perfect for this. If they did something like this for The Witcher, because The Witcher is an anthology, it's a monster hunter.
And that's what we're here for. We're here for hunting monsters. If I gotta spend another 30 minutes watching Fringilla argue with some elf about something I don't care about, that's when I start like going through my phone and getting chips and stuff. Because she's a black woman. Cool, I gotta support her, I guess, whatever. But like her and these debates every damn episode, and they're long and they boring. I just, woo, child.
And it's the same debate. That's the real big issue.
Every episode.
We understand, okay, Fringilla wants to be respected because she's never been respected. The elves want to be able to not feel like they're being killed. You talked about that episode 3. Why is episode 10 we're having the exact same conversation? I want to be respected.
They want this to be a drama with lots of monologuing that for it's almost like a theater feel. But we're really here just to see a sword go through the heart of something nasty. Like, that's why we're here. So can we lead with that?
If I ask somebody who's seen The Witcher, what is a scene or something that they thought was amazing?
It's a fight
they almost
scene.
Always it's the one with the sword and the 5 dudes in the alley.
Yeah, that was fire.
And that's like,
that set the tone. That set the tone.
That was the first episode.
Yep, and then we never got that.
So you telling me after 2 seasons of 16 episodes, you might give me that one, the first episode of season 2?
There should be a fight scene episode. There should be a werewolf episode. There should be a vampire episode. There should be a ghost episode. Like, kind of like they teased, but they didn't follow through with.
Like having some kind of
Scooby-Doo.
like having some kind of
they got the formula
each episode, or him doing a Witcher contract.
I mean, honestly though, like Scooby-Doo was on TV for a long time, and several generations of kids watched that show because you would tune in and you know what you was gonna get. They go somewhere, something's weird, we're gonna split into groups, figure it out, get back later. Like, that formula worked, and I feel like The Witcher needs to find that type of formula and repeat it throughout these episodes.
Speaking of Scooby-Doo and Scrappy, how do we feel with Siri? Because she was a major change.
Bro, how old is that kid? Because in the first season, she looked like a little girl. Now she older than me. So I'm trying to figure out. I had asked Oolong, was that even the same actress? And he said it was. And the longer I saw her, I was like, okay, that is the same kid. But what the hell?
It was.
She's on a different timeline in real life.
She's in her 20s. She was always. I mean,
was she always in her 20s, and now she just looks
I was not gonna say that, but Witcher first season came out in 2019. So
yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't dislike her. I don't care about it either, though. I don't feel a strong we should protect her thing.
Well, she's important in the story, but
she feels like a tool. Like, yes, she's that's part of it. Like, people are using her. That's kind of the thing. But she also feels like a narrative tool. Like, the author too is using her as some type of personification of something that's not actually a kid that I should care about.
I really do like the scenes with her and Henry, the first few episodes, where like you can see him doing that fatherly role.
It's
like
him though.
It is
him acting off of her.
Yeah, it is. It really is him.
I enjoy the strain. I like when he's with a woman, whether it's Jennifer or whether it's Siri, and you can see this strain to be sensitive. Like he's like trying to keep his masculinity intact, and you can see it in his face. And I enjoy watching him with that struggle.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I think I just like seeing him play Geralt so much that the scenes he's in, I make them feel better for others. Like it's like an area effect. Like him being in the scene makes me feel like the other actors are being better.
Yeah, he is truly the best thing this show's got going. And I think that was something else I wanted to say. They're trying to follow Game of Thrones formula by having just a bunch of I was gonna say gratuitous nudity of females for no reason. Like there's just a lot of just really raunchy, wild, butt naked girls. Mm-hmm. And I know they're doing that because that was a Game of Thrones formula, but it feels random. Yeah, I don't need it. But also, like, you have in Henry Cavill being a stepdad, you have something that women would really be into, like this big burly dude that got to take care of this baby. Like women would really like that, but you're not playing to women's sexuality. You're only playing to like gamer
male
boys that just want to see titties. Like that's, I'm sorry, I can't say that on shit. But
you don't know what you said it.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand. Like there's a female audience that they're neglecting while also playing way too heavy into the male audience.
Neglecting a female audience that has been actively campaigning on how much they just want to be able to look at your main star.
But I understand he does not like being objectified. I get it. But I feel like there's a way to do a little more tastefully. Not even like making him get naked or nothing. Just giving him more of a...
They just have to allow him to be able to play because they don't even want to objectify him. They just like seeing him as Geralt. It's like it's still Henry Cavill. They don't even allow him to just be him. Yeah. If that makes sense. It's a really weird thing to see a show that should have everything working for it. And you could just see where's the disconnect. Like for you to watch a season 3, what would they need to change?
I mean, it's like Game of Thrones. Not the story, but the actual production. What happened is very. They're trying too hard to be Game of Thrones. What would I want to see happen? I want to see more balance in the sexuality, and honestly, the sexuality can be toned down. I don't need raunchy butt naked party scenes, but balance out your audience, who you're targeting with the sexiness. I need to see daily beasting Monster Hunter. Daily Monster Hunter.
Beasting every day, baby. 365.
Something.
You know what I'm saying? I need to see Monster Hunts daily. I need to see less of Fringilla and anybody she's associated with. And
wait a minute. You bad at Fringilla?
That whole storyline makes my ass itch. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Speaking of that storyline, the whole captain guy, right? What did y'all feel about him?
I don't know.
The guy who was basically the main villain. The one who was captured and had been hanging out with Yennefer almost for like half the season.
Mm-hmm. Didn't care. He could walk in my room right now and I wouldn't know it was him.
Right.
Honestly, I don't care about none of that storyline. And honestly, you could cut Yennefer. Like people would be real mad, and I understand they can do that because it'd be boycotts. But like low key, if she just didn't show up for the next season, I would be better off. I hate her. She's really abrasive. I like her better before she had her operation. Honestly.
This is what I'm going to say. If she was the Yennefer that was in the books and in the games, you would love her because she's very Cersei-like.
But they made her nasty, like just insufferable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The way they do certain things, I think Geralt is the only reason he's done so well is because Henry
read the books.
Won't budge. He's like, this is Geralt.
Yennefer is just whiny and petulant and spoiled, and it's exhausted. Like Cersei was entitled, but she also had composure and she had couth, and she, and she
understood what power she had to be that way. Like, she was entitled, but there was a reason why she felt entitled.
And she wasn't crying about it, though. It wasn't a lot of, I want to be powerful. I want to be beautiful.
If you told Cersei you can't have kids, but you'll have all the power you'd ever want in the world, what do you think Cersei would do?
She would go for that, but she wouldn't give up her kids. Like, if you said you got to get rid of the kids you already got, I don't think she would do that. But
No,
if you
she
said, if she didn't have none, or you told her she couldn't have no more, please.
And would never, not one tear.
Wouldn't look back. She might drink some wine and tell you that's what she did, but it wouldn't be no find me a maester. Anyway, all right, we got to rate. Also, my last gripe: they wear everybody's names out. When they got a character that they like, they wear their name out. Fringilla, that could be a drinking game. Like, drink every time somebody says Fringilla, and you'll be on your ass. Or not. Yennefer of Vengabang, whatever the hell she's from.
Vengerberg.
It's constant. Do you know Yennefer? Yennefer who? Yennefer of Vengabang. Oh, yeah, I know Yennefer of Vengabang. I love Yennefer of Vengabang. Oh, it's constant. It's they pick like 3 or 4 names, and they say it over and over and over and over in every episode. Like, I'm serious. Listen, next time you listen to it. They gotta stop doing that shit. I'm so over it. All right. Jay. No, you went first last time. I'll let you Uzo go. Uzo. Your grade.
I enjoyed the season. I thought I think this one had a little bit more monster action than the last one. So and I like how they didn't have any time skipping or time jumps, so it just made it very linear. So I'll give it a B+.
That don't make no sense, but all right.
Okay.
I like
this and the Eternals. Him giving B+, I just don't care.
I like it. What y'all want me to give it a C? That's not how I feel about it. I thought the season was much better than the last.
Good.
I give it a B+.
I'm sure there's 1 or 2 people that agree with you somewhere.
It's my opinion.
I'll go next because Jay don't like always going last. So I will give it a C-.
Oh, Jesus.
I watched it.
Oh my God!
I watched it all the way up until 30 minutes before the end of the last episode, and I'm not even gonna go back and finish the last episode because I promise I don't care.
Need to.
I don't care. Like, they just did not make me care, and I don't care. So I can't do nothing better than this. Like, you have the premise, you have the set. The sets are beautiful. You have a good cast, and I still don't care. And I'm sick of it. And I told you, if I got to watch Fringilla talk to somebody else about something else, I'm going to scream. And she's a great actor, but them conversations be boring as hell. Jay.
I think the last Witcher I probably gave a B, so I'm gonna give this one, just because I don't know for sure, a B. Because technically, compared to the first season, it's improved everything. Better linear story, more action, better characterization, because you do get to see more Ciri and everything. So it does do better, but it's still not doing it on the right way. And if it wasn't for Henry, and if it wasn't for the story I really enjoy, because I just love fantasy, and when they do the monster-centric episodes, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. But it really can be improved. And I think the only thing holding it back, just like Eternals, is the showrunner.
All right, let me get this straight. I gave it a B+, and he gave it a B. But you have a problem with me giving it a B+?
Yeah, you got that straight.
Okay. I'm only giving it a B because I think I gave The Witcher, the first one, a B. If I gave the first Witcher anything lower than a B, then I might drop this one down.
When's the last time you saw season 1?
At least a year.
Yeah, because I watched season 1 and season 2 back to back, and I don't see the improvement, but that both of y'all stated. Season 1 was not bad. The biggest problem with season 1 is you had multiple timelines and time jumps within multiple timelines, which is time jumps forward and backwards in multiple timelines. Like, it was insane. So it was hard to tell when stuff happened. But outside of that, it had a solid story. When the story was really simple, it was solid. There was less of the what they call? I'm gonna call the people Neanderthals. What they Nilfgaardians? There was a lot less of the Nilfgaard elf issue. There was more witching going on, and the witching that was going on was good. Siri had a storyline that was very, very simple. I think that's my thing. The storyline was a lot simpler in season 1, even if the timeline was and I don't think that it was that much worse than season 2. When I finished season 1, I thought the end of season 1 was interesting, and I ended season 1 going, okay, let's watch season 2. And then halfway through season 2, I was like, I can't sit here and watch Frangilla have another conversation, and I stopped watching. Because that's all it turned into. Like, I see people hiding, people running, and Frangilla having conversation.
You know what? I'm gonna drop this down. I'm gonna give it a C+. You're right, because the parts of season 1 that I didn't like, the Yennefer stuff when she was trying to get her power, at least it made sense story wise. The Frangilla stuff should have only really been an episode or 2, maybe. It did not need to be a huge part B of a whole season.
She's way too big. She just ain't got nothing going on to have as many like lines and stuff as she got.
She's supposed to come on now.
She don't have nothing going on. She's just trying to get a little power in a war that we have not quite connected to the characters we care about yet. Barely. I don't know. I think they could have started the story back with Ciri's grandmother in that time period and just moved forward linearly without trying to run through time. I think giving the grandmother more lines, more time with her because she was really dope. I think it would have been made for a better season 1.
I know that this is part of the producer and the showrunners because the Witcher animation movie they did was awesome. They did that really well. And the thing that they're about to do with Michelle Yeoh, I know that's going to be dope.
I still haven't seen the animation one yet. I'm going to watch that tonight.
Yeah, that's really good. It's very similar to Castlevania to me. So watch that.
You know, I like the first 5 minutes of Castlevania. Then it started sucking.
I'm not talking
Anime does this thing where it introduces me to a story that I go, oh wow, this story's amazing. And then after 5 minutes of it, they jump 20 years in time, and it ain't the same story no more, and I can never get back into it.
That's a you problem.
That is such a you problem.
That's just a you problem.
Like JoJo does it. Like, don't make me like these characters and their relationships and stuff, and then you jump forward in time.
How you get mad about a series that tell you the whole series is about them jumping in time? Like, hey yo, this whole series is about jumping in time. What you mean you about jumping in time? I ain't signed up for this. You did.
You know what I mean? They be killing people in Death Note. I don't like that. No,
they be fighting in that box game. I don't like that.
They attacking people in Attack on Titan. Why they always in school in my hero?
What type of bus is this?
Yeah, when do y'all graduate? Oh man, all right.
Jared just spit, but I ain't gonna talk about it.
I did. He went on my hand.
And she wearing a onesie. This is trash. Let's end this.
I'm slobbering in a onesie. This is my hat. Or we rusty. We rusty as hell.
2022, you turned into a big ass baby.
I'm gonna have to edit this out. I've been cussing and everything. I done cussed like 3-4 times. Oh, we still supposed to be for the kids. All right. I'm gonna wrap it up. We're always looking for new guests. If you have opinions, hit us up and we will help share those opinions unless you are a Trump supporter. We don't do that here.
Thank you, Jesus.
Next episode. Wait, I'm skipping ahead. Hold on. Oolong, tell them who you are. Show them who you are.
It's your boy Ulongtea Gaming. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. What? What are you laughing at?
You're supposed to keep talking. You ain't supposed to talk because they can't see me.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media platforms under Ulongtea Gaming. That's ULONGTEA Gaming. Appreciate y'all.
I can't believe you. All right, we need y'all to subscribe to us in iTunes and everywhere else. I'm not about to sit here and list all these places. Like, if they got a podcast, look for Negro
There's
Justice
something
League.
I'm going to throw out there because we haven't done this before, but screw it. You know, we live in 22. Let's be wild. If you got something you want us to discuss, just shoot us something. I don't care what it is at this point. Let it let it be known. If you got
that's what we was
questions,
doing on the live. People was showing up and saying, "What about this?"
yeah. So
I'm scared. Jonah opened up. Joe.
I want to know.
Wrap it up. Subscribe to us. Follow us on Twitter at Black Nerdcast. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Negro Justice League. We also have a Negro Justice League Facebook group that actually gets more action than the business page because Facebook's algorithm suppresses business pages. So join our group too. Go to NegroJusticeLeague.com and see what's going on over there. We got a merch store with merchandise, so that's cool. Follow us on Twitch/Black Nerdcast, even though I have not been live in a minute, but we're gonna change some things. And rate and review us everywhere, especially iTunes. Next episode, Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean, I feel ambitious. I feel ambitious putting that out there, knowing that I haven't seen it.
You better go see it.
I'm not going to a movie theater.
I thought we were going to talk about Harry Potter stuff.
We are. I thought it was two things. I thought it was Spider-Man and Harry Potter. Oh, you did say a full Harry Potter episode. All right, that's what we're going to do. Next episode, we're going to do the Harry Potter tournament. I'm just now putting together what you said. We're going to talk about the Harry Potter House of Tournaments. Tournament of Houses. And then we're going to talk about the Harry Potter 20-year reunion. And then we're going to talk about Harry Potter video game briefly. That's going to be a real quick conversation because they ain't released nothing.
We're going to talk about why Harry Potter is going through some growing pains right about now.
Oh, man. I feel like I'm going to get canceled during this conversation because I got opinions. Spider-Man No Way Home should be on Disney by the time we record that and edit it and publish it, right? Because it didn't come out. It didn't come out too long after Eternals.
No, so it should be out.
Eternals came out in November, right?
Yeah.
All right,
Spider-Man came out in December.
Maybe by episode 95 we'll have that ready for you because I'm just not doing the theater thing. So that's it. This has been an extra long episode. I'm gonna have to try to edit this down, so you just might not be getting everything that there was to be gotten by the time that you get this. So I'm gonna holler at y'all later. I'm Sherry, and this is the Negro Justice League.